Hey everyone, it's T-Lore, and today I wanted to talk a little bit about a specific Starship trait that you may have heard of, and all the recent changes to Remans and Infiltrator that you've seen in patch notes, and what all of that means. So, She's a Predator comes from the legendary Scimitar warbird, and that comes in a bundle with another warbird, so it takes quite a bit of Zen to get. But She's a Predator is a trait that takes your ambush bonus that you get when cloaking and applies it to attack patterns. So if I use attack pattern beta, then I'm going to get my ambush bonus, which is 15% bonus all damage for 5 seconds. Now this is the base ability. Notice I'm on ground. It also is picking up some hit points and cloak reduction, but the main goal here is this bonus all damage for 5 seconds. So what do Remans do for you? So if I look at the Reman species, I have a species personal trait called Infiltrator. And what this does is increases the duration of my ambush damage by 7.5 seconds. You'll notice I don't have this slotted, and that's because right now the Infiltrator from your captain personal traits does not stack with any of the traits that are from bridge officers. So this is a bridge officer with basic Infiltrator. If I were to put basic Infiltrator, this bridge officer with basic Infiltrator on my ship, it would overwrite the trait that I'm using on my captain. So even though I would have this slotted, it would be overwritten by the bridge officer, even though the bridge officer is a lower level of it. So that's bug intended, whatever, it doesn't matter. Right now, slotting Infiltrator as a captain doesn't really benefit you. But I'm going to show you how it works if you don't have this Infiltrator ability. So this only works for anyone of the Romulan faction. And the problem with that is that Federation and Klingons and Jem'Hadar and all those can't get any of these bridge officers to really help with that. So we're going to start by looking at a basic Infiltrator, and these are extremely easy to get. You'll find some on the exchange for pretty expensive, but I'm actually going to go and show you where on New Romulus. I came off the transporter pad and went to the right. You'll notice over here is the bridge officer trainer where you get your bridge officer skills. I'm actually going to go back in this little cubicle back here. I'll pull it up on the map so that you can see it. So you come in at the transporter, you go through the rotunda and over here to this planetary data center. This bridge officer vendor right here is the one you want to talk to. Now once you hit level 65, they're going to have some options for specialists. So we're going to go to intelligence specialists. You can look at the other ones, but they only have Romulans for options, but the intelligence specialists have Remans. Now, when you pick up a Reman, and you can pick one of any career, tactical, engineering, science, they're only 204 refined dilithium, or 240 at most. This is a pretty cheap way to get basic Infiltrators. Basic, standard, which I'm going to call vanilla because it just says Infiltrator, and superior Infiltrators will all stack together to add additional duration to your ambush bonus. What we're looking at here is picking up one of these bridge officer candidates. I'm just going to go ahead and grab one and show you what we're looking for. Now, sometimes you'll get one like this one that doesn't have the Infiltrator ability. So unfortunately, there's no way to really fix that. You just have to roll again. Now, I will say I did some testing, and in 10, I got about half of them had basic Infiltrator. So you're not going to have to spend a whole lot of dilithium, but you will have to click through a few times in order to get one that has Infiltrator. So to save a little bit of time, I have basic Infiltrators already selected. So you can look in here, it says basic Infiltrator gives you 5 seconds of additional ambush bonus. Now this subterfuge is also going to be important because it gives you plus 10% bonus damage while ambush bonus lasts. That stacks with your She's a Predator and Cloaking Ambush. So right now, if we go and look at this trait, it is 15% bonus all damage for 5 seconds. If we put a basic Reman with basic Infiltrator and Subterfuge on there, it's going to go up to 25% bonus all damage for 10 seconds. So just that one ability there almost doubles the damage and the duration. Now, the next one that we're going to talk about is going to be Superior Infiltrator. And there's two ways to do this. One of them is to roll the Reman Duty Officer mission, which I'll get to in a little bit. And you can get a Superior Infiltrator on a blue or purple Reman. So this is a blue one. It has Superior Infiltrator. That's going to add a bunch to my ambush bonus. So I'm going to go ahead and commission this one, and this superior infiltrator boosts my ambush damage by 10 seconds. So if we put this with a basic and the base ability itself, we're now up to 20 seconds. That's one way to get it, and that's the extremely hard way to get it. The other way to get it is if we look at one of our basic infiltrators that we picked up, and you go to the status, you can upgrade with an Elite Bridge Officer Training token. Now, I sort of recommend this, and you'll see why it's really good and why it's really bad. I still have my original free one they gave when they unlocked this new token. So that's what I'm going to use right here, and I'm going to do this, and you can see that it's going to upgrade all inherent traits to maximum rake. So we're going to complete the upgrade, but now we can go look and see you now have superior subterfuge. This is going to replace just regular subterfuge, and instead of getting 10%, you're going to get 15% bonus damage. So now he has superior infiltrator, we have a basic infiltrator. What about just a vanilla infiltrator, one that just says infiltrator? Well, I happen to have one of those right here, and you get these from a duty officer mission. Now this duty officer mission is in-game called ultra rare, and it is extremely rare. To give you perspective, all the rest of these are Romulans. And I have also 5 other characters that have about this many Romulans on them as well. So I got 83 Romulans from the Romulan Bridge Officer mission and 2 Remans. Now, you get a Reman, and you still have a chance of not getting just Infiltrator. You could get one that doesn't have Infiltrator at all. You could get one that has Superior Infiltrator. You actually want to try and get this green uncommon Reman as opposed to the rare or very rare ones, so that you get just Infiltrator. So how do you get this duty officer mission? Well, you either go to the New Romulus Command Center or the Azure sector in sector space and go to current map. You can look at current map and also look at department heads and the operations officer. Make sure to scroll to the bottom and you'll occasionally see the ultra rare mission. Now when it pops up, we're going to make sure that we select a different duty officer. So on this one, we're going to look for the purple quality options, and we're going to remove those, and then we're going to look specifically for the green quality options and make sure we have those. And a white duty officer will also be a lower chance of success than a green, blue, or purple duty officer. So I specifically got this duty officer for this mission and put him on it so that I have a higher chance of getting the green duty officer than the blue or purple quality. So that tactful helps get it green. And when you begin the assignment, it takes about 2 days for it to come through. Alright, so now I have this bridge officer on there. I have a basic, vanilla, infiltrator, and a superior infiltrator. One last thing that you need to know is that there is a personal trait that comes from a lockbox that you can get called Maquis Tactics. This gives you plus 10% bonus all damage from Cloak Ambush. Now, when I picked this trait up, I somehow got 10% bonus all damage to my ambush without having the trait slotted. And then when I slotted the trait, I got an additional 10%. So normally we would expect 40% bonus all damage at this point, but in fact, I'm getting 50% on the tooltip. I can't confirm very easily if that's the actual amount that we're getting or not, but let's go ahead and beam up and see what this looks like. Now, here's the moment of truth. All of that work that we put in, now it says 50% bonus all damage for 20 seconds. Alright, so this is basic infiltrator. Increase the duration of your ambush damage boost by 5 seconds. So that's 5 base plus 5 more is 10. So this is just infiltrator. Should increase the boost by 7.5, so it should be 17.5. And this has superior infiltrator, should boost it by another 10 seconds. But now what we're seeing is, in fact, this is not all the way up to 27.5 seconds. Something doesn't stack right. This is news to me. This is the first time I've put all of these bridge officers on there, and this should be 27.5 seconds instead of just 20. Now let's look at Cloak. It should also be the same, but we're finding that it's only going up to 20 seconds. So one of these bridge officers, we're either hitting a cap or they aren't stacking. Let's take off the superior infiltrator. because that should make the biggest difference. So we'll take this one all the way off. And now you can see it's 45% bonus damage for 10 seconds. So the basic infiltrator, that's the hardest one to get, I'm sorry, not basic, vanilla, it just says infiltrator, that's the hardest one to get, in fact, does not apply its bonuses to cloak. So all the work that I put in to try and get this bridge officer, in fact, infiltrator does not work. While that's slightly funny that the hardest one to get is the one that's broken, it's actually kind of frustrating. The fact that I put through quite a bit of work to get a hold of this bridge officer, and it in fact does nothing on the build right now. You can see I'm back up to 20 seconds. If I were to put my other superior infiltrator on there as well, it doesn't stack, so it's not adding anything to my build. But regardless, for 20 seconds, I'm getting 50%, probably actually 40% because of the weird stacking, bonus damage from cloak. And then if we go and look at She's a Predator, it's on an additional 50%. So if I were to hit attack pattern beta and cloak and then decloak, I am getting an ambush bonus as well as She's a Predator. So that's an additional 100%, 80 to 100%, depending on whether it's actually doing what the tooltip says or not. Bonus all damage for 20 seconds. Now, I would hope that at some point Infiltrator is fixed and this goes up to 27.5 seconds, especially since these are extremely hard to get, but we'll see what happens. After playing around a little bit with the bridge officer stations and everything, if I click my cloak, once I'm able to get my ambush here, so you can actually see that this pops up for the 27.5 seconds that we were expecting. However, if I use She's a Predator, it's only applying for 20 seconds. So Infiltrator is kind of working. It's applying to the cloak, but it's not showing up in the tooltip. And the working with She's a Predator, it doesn't work with She's a Predator. So I would still say that it's broken and should at least be updating the tooltip, if not also actually working with She's a Predator. So the best thing I can say is pick up a basic infiltrator for almost nothing. You can pick up a superior infiltrator for a little bit more on the exchange, or if you do find that Reman power or have one of those bridge officer training tokens, you can use those. And for right now, I would say don't try and chase this infiltrator because it's completely broken.